Hi there. I'm here again doing another video, and this video is going to be about the fact that we always suggest things to ourselves. It's like when I put a post on the internet, I'm not just when I'm saying something or anything I'm saying to anyone, I'm actually suggesting that to myself also. You see, it's all, everything that we think about, everything we see, it's all suggesting something to ourselves. And when you become aware of this, you start to tamper with your awareness. Then that tampers and changes your reality by manipulating your own understandings of things and how you see things and all this kind of stuff. Instead of seeing from the tiny perspective and perception, you know, and this is what most people are in. You know, most people are seeing reality from a tiny perspective, from one way, and there are billions of other ways to look at things on this planet alone. And it's really madness when you do have that spiritual awakening. You start to see, because what's happening in the awakening is you're having a perceptual shift. You know, you're manipulating your awareness through manipulating your perceptions, because your perceptions is your awareness. It's like I was talking last week. I made a few videos last week about Mdma and the awareness of what's going on and what the people say when they're on it. And you know, and you know, the feelings of Mdma is the same feelings of mindfulness. I was watching a guy last week on YouTube talking about it, and he's trying to make it legal. And he was talking about that. He said it's the same feelings of mindfulness. Now you can induce that feelings yourself by, again, going back to what I was saying, tampering with your awareness. You tamper with your feelings, your perceptions. You can induce. That's how you induce any feeling you want, by opening yourself up to it. You know, what do people say when they take Mdma? They say that the ego is pushed aside. Well, you can do that right now by understanding that the ego is just a fictional illusion. And then as you deplete this, as you open up more and more, you open up to more and more feelings. And you realize that you can be any feeling you want. And once you open up to infinite feelings, then you become like someone on Mdma. Because in that Mdma state, you're very open. That's how your feelings just get better and better. And once you start to expand your awareness and be more open, you start to induce these type of feelings. Because all Mdma is basically the heart center, your heart space. But the difference is, you know, a drug is doing it, but you can do it without a drug, without taking a chemical, because when you take chemicals, you don't know how your body's going to react to it. So that's how you induce these kind of feelings, you know. And once you go into infinity, you won't just have one type of feelings, you'll be open to other things also, other ecstasy emotions, and there's an infinity of it. If you think of it, everything is infinite potential. So that means that all love is infinite love ways and love feelings and stuff. There is not just one way, there's infinite ways of things, you know. But don't narrow yourself down by being with one way or a 6 or 5 or 6 senses. We are infinite senses, we are infinite possibility, you know. You are just a mechanical man or woman, and this is what you're becoming in spiritual ascension. When you realize that you're infinity, you're becoming a mechanical, multidimensional man or woman. right? That's what we all are, really, deep down. But the system and society, which is the system, dumbs itself down and convinces itself that it's ill, when it's probably just low on something like vitamin D or something, you know? And something like that can bring on flu, respiratory conditions. And but back to the perception, that's what manifests everything. Your perception and how you choose to look at things. And this awakening, what it did for me is it changed how I was seeing things. I started to realize that how I'm seeing things determines how I feel about it. And then you start to manipulate this, and this is how you manipulate your awareness, and from your awareness comes your feelings. And your feelings determines how your reality is. And this is how you, when you become more open and more open, that is the Mdma state. The reason mindfulness is better is because it's healthier for you than to take a chemical. So it's very important that people know how to do this. And this is what I believe the reason is why MDMA is illegal, because they were frightened, I think, that people would tap into this awareness and a mindfulness state. I think this is why it's illegal, and alcohol is legal. Alcohol, the only people that I know that have died of drugs were alcoholics. I don't know anyone that's died of MDMA. But I know people that have died of alcohol. And alcohol messes people's heads up. It's not like one night in a pill, it ruins people's lives. And they wake up when they're 50 and think, where have all the years gone? Well, you're drinking all those years. But any feeling, including any feeling that you like in a drug or anything, it's all your awareness. All the drug's doing is giving you a suggestion. Like I was saying earlier in the video, everything comes from a suggestion. Right? Once you start to suggest things to yourself, you start to be aware of suggestion in general, you then can start to steer your awareness into whatever kind of awareness and feelings that you want. And this is how you induce any feelings of MDMA or anything, is by steering your own awareness, by manipulating your perceptions, and you do that by suggesting different things to yourself. Everything that you're doing and thinking and feeling is a suggestion. And that puts you in a certain perceptual state, which is your reality. It's like every time I'm speaking on here or doing a post on the internet, I'm basically suggesting things to myself as well. Right? So I'm very aware of this. The problem is, in the world, there's a lack of awareness. There's a lack of self-awareness. There's a lack of awareness and understanding of what people are doing to themselves. It's like IQ is judged by memory. But the real intellect, I've learned from the spiritual awakening, is from awareness, consciousness. Like David Icke said it. He said years ago. He said that and the intellect is a village idiot compared with someone with an expanded awareness, and that's true. An expanded awareness person is consciousness, their feelings, their awareness. A person who's the so-called intellect is just a repeater of information which they're just repeating, and they're not even aware of whether it's good information or bad information. There's a serious lack of intelligence with the intellect, with the so-called intellect. It's like I watched a YouTube video a few years ago, and there was this Pleiadian child that was on planet Earth, and his intelligence was above everything else, including all the so-called intelligent people. That's because they're dealing with feelings and vibrations and awareness and that kind of intelligence. That's the real intellect. That's why the spiritually awake person in the past was perceived as crazy, because they're not thinking, they're feeling. And that's why they have all this insight and knowledge. It's the same state as MDMA. That MDMA state, that mindfulness state, the same thing. helps you have insight and clarity and knowing and real knowing about things. And you start to manifest this by simply being self-aware. And when you're doing this, you're being self-aware, you're elevating towards Nirvana, because you realize that all this right and left stuff is made up, and all is made up by someone. And as you realize this more and more, you're becoming more centered, and you're entering the state of Nirvana, which is achieved through, first you need the spiritual awakening. How you do that is you just start being self-aware, and that leads to this realization that there's no left or right, it's just love and awareness. And that's when you're entering this enlightenment state of Nirvana, which is really Mdma. And that's how you induce Mdma feelings naturally. I've done a few videos about this. I've done a few videos about this last week, and I'll continue to. And I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.